Hi everybody, Tara Green here. I haven't been online. I took a bit of a sabbatical just before that full moon and to get away from the city a bit, and that was real nice. So let's give you a weekend update, but I also want to backtrack a little bit. So one of the main features of the super moon, of the full moon at 23 Sag, was the next day's exact conjunction of Mars conjunct Chiron in Aries at 15 degrees exactly on the 15th. So the 15th degree in all of the signs is like the peak energy. It's like think of it as a wave. It starts at 0, peaks at 15, drops back down to 30. So it is the most powerful degree. So Mars rules Aries. So Mars is in his strength as the warrior. And conjunct Chiron in Aries is really pointing out our vulnerability and our anger and our defenses and all of that stuff that's brewing below the surface, because Mars and Aries usually express its anger. It is about new beginnings. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is about battling through where we've been oppressed. The warrior is fighting for the wounds, to protect the wounded children, to protect the innocent, to protect whatever it needs to defend. But so it always works both ways. There's always a positive expression. The positive masculine traditionally will defend the feminine. And so there's that good part where we need to defend the good, but also where we can get too defensive, too entrenched, too in denial, too not, no, there's nothing wrong with me kind of thing, and being in that overly macho Aries energy. In the tarot, Aries is symbolized by the emperor or the king. And so, that power, right? That macho kind of power. Also, it's guns, very literally. So people being wounded around guns, astrology is very literal. Gun control laws in the U.S. and all those poor innocent children being killed and stuff like that. So that dialogue got, exacerbated, right? But it is time to heal yourself and to be stronger and to set a new intention and to go forward quite boldly. Now, on the 16th, the sun was trining Saturn in Aquarius, and that's opens our minds. And then the sun was squaring Neptune. Now, that's also on the 16th. That's also a big deal because the sun is our ego, it's our identity. In Gemini, it's dual-natured. We talk, we debate, we flip from one side to the next, angel, devil. We're communicating, on whatever social platform we are. And then Neptune is the planet of spirituality. It's the planet of everything that's ephemeral. It's Pisces. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It's intuitive. It's all about faith. It's all about hope. It's all about belief systems. It's all about endings and addictions and projections. Pisces is the sign of projections. And so all of this, the fake news and people not knowing what's going on, and Neptune rules viruses. So Neptune and Pluto and Capricorn were in a positive, supportive sextile to each other just during the beginning of COVID. And that, to me, is because Pluto rules the collective unconscious, which is also a big symbol of that fake news, who knows what's going on. So Sun square Neptune can ignite, because it's the sun, a new spiritual awareness, a more balanced, all air signs are dualistic, awareness, bringing in the spiritual plus the analytical, the queries that Gemini does. But it also can make us feel very lost and very tired. And so, we're all feeling pretty exhausted here. So mentally fatigued, and so expect that energy is still going on. Now, when the sun, the main star in our sky, makes an aspect to a planet, that lasts until the sun makes another aspect. So that sun square Neptune, very, very creative, at the topmost, at the most ideal, which is what Neptune represents, the most idealistic. It's extremely creative for brainstorming, good for artists, advertisers, salespeople, trickster. We were watching that Loki thing on TV. Trickster, very creativity oriented, very perceptive. Your dreams may be very strong, very powerful. You may be dialoguing or arguing or seeing your shadow side. Gemini is very much about the light, the dark, that divine balance, and just tapping into unconscious resources. But it also can tap into fear and paranoia and denial and separation and blame and scapegoating. So all of those aspects are part of it. Now, also on the 16th, I'm still back on the 16th, the moon was in Capricorn sextiling Neptune. So again, and conjuncting Pluto. So that was also an aspect adding to that. Now, okay, let's get to the 17th now. All right, the moon is in Aquarius since the 16th at 5:44 p.m. That's Eastern Daylight Time. And the Aquarius moon, because it's in an air sign, allows us to be detached, to be scientific and innovative and not have our emotions engaged. So like a dentist, a doctor, a surgeon, they need to have that emotional detachedness. Again, Aquarius rules cryptocurrencies, which have been totally, sort of back down to 20,000, 21,000 right now. And Aquarius rules people who want freedom, and they want to march to their own drummers, and working with the internet. So any kind of social media, all that stuff is strong when the moon is in Aquarius. But technically, the emotions are not up front. They're kind of filtered through the mind. And the moon always represents the emotions. So moon sextile Jupiter in Aries and Chiron in Aries, they're both still together. Again, new ideas about healing those wounds and dropping the armor to move ahead collectively, because Aquarius represents collective bargaining or collective thought, or groups, people who agree to work together and organize together. So that's a good thing. So dropping the emotions or putting them aside to discuss how we can create something new, collaborate. That's what moon in Aquarius is all about. And then the moon squares Uranus in Taurus. Now Uranus in modern astrology rules Aquarius. So while Uranus is in Taurus from 2018 up until around 2025-26, all that Taurus, concrete, immovable, sensual energy is by necessity going to have to change, and it really hates change. So again, people can dig in their heels. They can be, famously stubborn in that Taurian way. But it also is good. Squares, even though they're hard, are good because they're the tension lines that help things to move forward. So I would say it's good for creative breakthroughs. And then the moon sextiles Mars in Aries. So again, Mars in its own home sign right now, very powerful. Aggressively integrating something new. And of course, Venus in Taurus is also in her sign. We're going to get to her. She's active on the 18th and the 19th. So on the 18th, the moon is still in Aquarius, squaring Venus in Taurus. Speaking of that, we can't call her the devil. Squaring Venus in Taurus. So Venus in Taurus is about enjoying everything on the sensual level. It's about embodying that kind of Taurian, plodding stability, smelling the roses, really enjoying the body, really enjoying material things, beautiful things, art, flowers. It's almost summer here. We're almost at the summer solstice. It's only a couple days away here. So really enjoying being in your body and opening up your mind. The moon then conjuncts Saturn in Aquarius. So Saturn rules Aquarius traditionally. Again, it's early in the morning. Again, Saturn is always restrictions, obstacles, testing, limitations. So you can hit some blocks in the road there and have to make some detours. But moon in Aquarius is quite agile. It is a fixed sign, but it is all about innovation and thinking new ways of approaching things. So the moon trines the sun in Gemini. That's at 2:50 p.m. That's Eastern Daylight Time, and then goes void of course, which means it's in between classic old planet aspects. So sun trine the moon is really nice, positive energy. If it's your birthday today or any day when I mention this, this is the aspects active on your birthday. It is Paul McCartney's 80th birthday today. I'm sure there's going to be big celebrations and honorings of him on this historic occasion. He is the quintessential Gemini who never gets old, who's still on the road singing, even though he seems to have lost his voice. But it's still, hey, it's still Paul McCartney. You get to watch a living legend. And then Venus, speaking of her, squares Saturn in Aquarius. So again, planets in fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, are stubborn and do not want to budge. So again, Venus rules Taurus. So she is in her element. She's expressing that sensuous beauty, the body knowledge, the artistic, the creative energy, and then squaring Saturn in Aquarius. So she may be a bit rigid to opening up her mind or doing things differently, or it can conversely also be good to meet someone on the internet, or it can be the end of someone you're dating on an app or something of that nature. It could be fathers. Saturn in Aquarius is fathers, and Father's Day is June the 19th. So dad, by that aspect, would like something practical. Taurus is practical, beautiful, sensuous, visibly has good taste. That's Venus and Taurus. So really it's all about kind of loving your dad or remembering your dad if he's not with you anymore. And then the moon will enter Pisces at 7:01 p.m. Again, this is Eastern Daylight Time, and so for the next 2.5 days while the moon is in Pisces, that is the mood. So Pisces, we're into the last phase of this month. The moon moves through every sign every 28 days. Very much emotional, very much sensitive, psychic, creative, dreamy, having faith, having compassion. Venus sextiles Neptune. That's at 9:06 p.m. That's Pacific Daylight Time, and that is one of the most creative, romantic, idealistic aspects there is. Venus in Taurus in her home sign, Neptune in Pisces in his home sign. Neptune is considered in modern astrology to be the higher octave of Venus. So this is Venus in Taurus would be very much about human love. Neptune in Pisces would be about that soulmate. So having both of those two planets, those symbols working together, very beautiful, very psychic, especially with the moon in Pisces. So definitely watch your dreams, watch your impressions, watch your intuition, trust your body. Venus and Taurus, trust your gut instincts. People get psychic impressions in many different ways. So very creative, very imaginative. You can meet your soulmate. It's really great to be creative under this aspect, and very benevolent, benefit of the doubt, seeing the essence of everyone's true soul loving nature. And then the moon squares Mercury in Gemini. Now, again, Mercury ruling Gemini. So 4 of the major classical planets are in their own signs. An astrologer named S.J. Anderson pointed out this hasn't happened since the 1870s, so a very long time, even though it doesn't sound like it's that unusual, but it is. So Gemini, moon in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini. I want it, I don't want it, I'm going back and forth. 1 minute I'm an angel, 1 minute I'm a devil, 1 minute I'm open, next minute I'm closed. So, it's difficult to deal with, but if you have to kind of just understand, they'll say one thing, they'll do something else, and really sense the moon in Pisces is really sensing the underneath the mind, what's really going on, really feeling into that. Again, it's Father's Day. It is also Juneteenth. The sun, then this is the next aspect. The sun is in conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, 4:10 a.m., so this is happening in the middle of the night. And in conjunct is a blind spot, so something we're not seeing in the collective unconscious may come out in the news or the media this day. Again, a kind of divisive note, because Gemini can appear divisive, although it's really just 2 polarities, and that's our minds have the rational and then the intuitive. And then the moon in Pisces sextiles Uranus in Taurus again. This is only in Pacific Daylight Time, but will happen after midnight on the 20th. Again, your dreams you could have breakthrough moments at this time. Okay, so wishing you all the best blessings. I'm getting back up to speed with my work, so if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at taratarot.com, sending you many blessings.